You're listening to this week's episode of the Vacation Rental Business in Today's World podcast. You're about to start transforming your business and life with the information found here. We interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in the vacation short-term rental industry and supporting businesses. The information found here is a combination of brain science, transformational thinking, safety and loss prevention, and vacation short-term rental knowledge and experiences, all rolled into one to help you and your business to achieve levels you never thought possible. I am glad you are here, and now please welcome your host, Eric Thibodeau.
Hello everyone, we're back here, and today we have Taylor Hill with Key Data. Taylor, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Good. Where are you at right now?
So I am currently in Panama City, Florida. So right down the road from beautiful 30A, the Panama City Beach area.
That's good. Yeah, and I'm sure the temperatures have warmed. We were down in Gulf Shores last week. It was kind of chilly.
It's not really been very warm lately. We've actually had pretty chilly weather in the like 40s or 50s. I think today it might be low 60s finally, but it's not Florida weather for me.
Yeah, so good. So welcome. We appreciate you joining us today. And today we're going to talk about the data and why it's so important in our business. Before we do that, can we get a little bit of information about you and your work experience and involvement with vacation rentals?
Yeah, of course. So currently I am the business development manager with Key Data Dashboard. I started in the vacation rental industry about 5 years ago, working with a property management company in Panama City Beach. So I feel pretty special to having switched sides of the industry, knowing exactly how it works from a property management point of view, and then also being on the vendor side to get to work with those property managers. So only a couple years ago, I was actually doing marketing and revenue for this vacation rental company. And now I am working with Key Data, and I've been with Key Data since May of 2019. So almost 2 years. It's pretty exciting.
Great. And did you ever think you were going to be working with vacation rentals, or is this something that just happened?
It really is something that just happened. I was given the opportunity to work as an administrative assistant in the industry. And so as my knowledge of the company grew, I had a couple of promotions, which led me into the marketing and revenue role, which is also what I was going to school for at the time. So once I was allowed to go to a conference, the first conference I went to in the space, I just knew that this is where I belong. This industry is amazing. Everybody is so supportive. I feel very fortunate that I think I was like 21 years old and I found my niche. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. So I was really fortunate for that.
That's great. And so as we switch into Key Data, so tell us what Key Data is and what its role is in the industry and what's your role?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I'm the business development manager with Key Data. So I'm lucky enough to get to reach out to partners or property managers and bring you into Key Data. And what is Key Data? So Key Data, this is a data visualization tool that's been created by property managers for property managers. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Jason Sprinkle he's located in Santa Rosa Beach. He used to work with 360 Blue, a very prominent vacation rental company in the Florida Panhandle. And he came up with this idea with a couple other leaders in the industry to create this data tool. So everything that we add to our tool is looked at by property managers as well. So we have a team of experts that we call our partner success managers, and they are all revenue managers with experience up to 25 years experience, doing rental revenue management in the space. And they look at this tool and they help create it. So every time we add a new report, add something new, it goes through them first. So it's, like I said, created by property managers for property managers. And it really sets us apart from other data providers in the industry, along with the fact that we provide real data, unlike scrape data from Airbnb and Vrbo or big platforms.
So what do you mean by real data?
Yeah, so with Key Data, we connect directly to property management softwares to bring in real data. So when we give you an average daily rate, we're showing you the daily rate at which the properties have actually booked at. Other data providers may scrape those websites so you get more of the advertised data. So what are rates advertise that, run on the front end of Airbnb and Vrbo, that's what you see. So that's the difference between that scrape data and real data, is ours comes directly from your property management software.
Great. Yeah. And so you're really comparing data, and we'll talk more about what data we're looking at from the actual market and the comparables that we're competing with it, for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And then, when you decide to sign up for the dashboard, we connect, like I said, directly to your property management software. It's a very easy, seamless process. It takes no time at all. Really, we're partnered with almost every single PMS that you probably could think of in this space. We're from all the way from Streamline to Track Direct, LiveRes. Everybody works with Key Data. And so really excited to be able to give this real data. It's something that the space has never seen before, to be able to have those connections and anonymize them and make sure that, your data is safe and secure, along with providing real reports to the space, because better data when we work together. And I think after a year like 2020, we found out that the better we work together, the better we can make it out of tragic things and big events that happen like 2020.
Yes, for sure. So we're one of the partners with Key Data. So explain how partnering with Key Data works for property managers.
So they would come to me. We would establish a demo so I can talk about some of the reports and see what reports work best for you, if it is going to be the right fit. Because sometimes, it's not always, and we are very open about that. We're not in the business to say, hey, we just want your money. We want to make sure that this is a product that you're going to use and you're going to benefit from. So we'll have that demo. We'll go through everything together. We'll talk about how you can use this to grow your company and better your data, your reports. And then we will sign up, and it's just a quick report form that you'll fill out, and then our implementation team will start working with you and get you set up, and then you'll move on to that partner success role, where you'll start having monthly meetings, going through your data and talking about what's going on in this space as well.
Great. And so what data should we be reviewing for our vacation rentals, and why is this so important in today's world?
So our dashboard has over 30 key performance indicators, and we tend to put a lot of focus in our reports on 4 core KPIs that we like to use, and they are your average daily rate, adjusted paid occupancy, RevPAR, and unit revenue on a nightly basis. And they're all important indicators, and we recommend using these KPIs so often because they are the ones that we would say you would use if you were a revenue detective. They're the ones that you want to go in and check to see, well, how am I performing compared to where I was last year at this time? And they're the KPIs that are going to help you identify where you're struggling. Maybe you need to lower your rates in a certain area or raise your rates, or maybe your occupancy is hurting in one area and you want to see if it's not only hurting you, but you want to see how the market's performing in that same time frame as well. And so we give you those internal and external reports to show you how you're performing against yourself, which is, that's your goal, is to always be better than who you were last year. And then also see how you're performing against the market to see those trends. So you can look at a lot of those reports, and they're important to you because you need to be making educated decisions about your data. There's just no doubt about it. At this point in time, if you're not using data, if you're not making decisions for your revenue with data, you could be missing out on so much money. There's no more, well, it worked last year at this rate, so let's leave it that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to adjust based on demand, based on supply. And that's what all of our reports are going to help you see. You're going to be able to see, well, where was I at last year? And then let's check in on the market, see what they're doing this year too. We never recommend go to the market and copy and paste exactly what you see the market's doing for their 4-bedroom houses, but you should be using that data to make educated decisions for your own revenue and reports.
So it's a start of the discussion, using the data to say, where am I at in this market and how am I comparing to last year? It's not the final answer.
Exactly. Yes, it's definitely a start. You have to drill that down, and you can in our dashboard. We have filter options that'll say, we want to look at 4-bedroom houses that are beachfront, that have a pool. What are those amenities, to really drill down to those units and see what's going on, get the bigger picture, look into that more.
Yeah, great. And I think the other thing we like to use, and I think it's pretty important right now, is the booking window, uh, because
Mhm.
the booking window has gotten much shorter here recently, particularly since COVID, and it just creates an unease because in the
Mhm.
past we would already have multiple bookings, but tell us how the booking window can help us understand what's happening with our guest booking.
Yeah, and I think something with the booking windows that we've talked about probably for years is that these booking windows are slowly starting to get smaller. Like they warned us about it, and I think a lot of conferences that I would go to would sit at the table like they're getting shorter. The booking windows are getting shorter, and then this year just really escalated that process, and everybody's booking windows got shorter, even ones that we weren't expecting. In the mountains where people are skiing and stuff. Normally, those people book those trips well in advance. We're seeing those within that 30-day window. And the advantage of knowing that booking window helps you when you know, like, when to again adjust those rates, right? So you don't want to adjust rates for a stay that could be happening 2 weeks out if you're in this mindset thinking that, oh no, it's already past the booking window. I've already missed out on these bookings. You could be wrong, so you need to know that booking window for that reason. So you could say, well, looks like guests are booking about 15 days out right now. So maybe I'll wait, give it some more time, or they're booking within the 10-day booking window. So I'm going to give this more time versus jumping the gun and lowering your rate.
Right, that's the natural inclination is let's just lower our rates, and then nothing happens there because the booking window is much smaller, and so we just end up
Mm-hmm.
hurting our performance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's where our RevPAR is revenue per available rental night, and it's an overall indicator of your performance. And so that takes your ADR and your occupancy to give you an idea as to how you're performing compared to last year. And as you're looking ahead and you're seeing that your RevPAR might be low, it could be because your occupancy is low or that ADR is low. But if your ADR is you're planning to raise that rate or you're already expecting to lower the rate because you're getting closer to that time frame, make sure you look at that occupancy. If I'm already ridiculously low in my occupancy and I don't have bookings, lowering your ADR is not going to help you out in any way. You might still get bookings, but overall RevPAR, you underperformed it comparatively. And so it's, in some instances, I know that people are like, well, I just wanted to get somebody in the bed, heads in beds. That's a thing that I've heard in the past. And that could be one thing, but it could also be hurting your rental. And, because yes, you want to get somebody in there, but is the cost of having somebody in going to be more than the cost you make for the reservation? And I think that's something that a lot of people, and maybe in a year like this, it's not going to be the best way to look at it. Like maybe we just want to let people in because we need to see some kind of turnover. But as you grow and as you have the ability to be picky about the guests and picky about the daily rates, you'll see a more profitable company from that.
Exactly, and that's the great thing about data. It doesn't lie. It doesn't have an emotion, so we can just rely on it to guide us.
Yes, absolutely. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've heard people say that they used to just change their revenue based on feelings. Like, well, I feel like it's going to be busy, and that has happened. And you have to use data. There's just no way you can run a success and from what I've seen without using some form of data. Whether you're there are some people that are creating their own Excel sheets. Whether you're using other platforms, you have to have data to back your decisions.
Right, and all this data just basically comes in either through, like in LiveRes, it comes through our property management software, and then is that the same for all, or is it just based upon the property management software?
That's based on the type of integration that we have with LiveRes. Yeah, it's like you're able to see it right in your software in the dashboard, so it makes it a lot easier. And we do have that with some other softwares as well, that we have those types of integrations. With some, you do have to it's an easy thing though too, because you just log in through the key data dashboard and you have access to everything. And we have added in the past year the ability to set up emails, which is so great. So then you don't always have to go in. You can start Monday morning with all the reports that you want to see in your inbox. So you can know first thing exactly how you're performing versus remembering to take the time to go into that dashboard and look at those reports.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I mean, because maybe a lot of the people in the audience aren't data experts, and they're maybe a little hesitant of, we're talking about data and its numbers, and so what would you say to them? How easy is the tool to use, and how can they overcome that?
It's so easy to use, and once you get in and get it set up, it becomes easier because you get to work with that partner success manager. And I think this is another thing that really is going to separate us from other data providers. And I've heard this, that they get the tool, they get in there, and then they get lost down this rabbit hole, and it can seem overwhelming, or that a lot's going on. But when you have that partner success manager, somebody that holds your hand and walks you through the reports and is going to tell you, well, this is what you need to be looking at on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and a monthly basis. So let's set these up for emails. And then you and I will check in on the first Tuesday of every month to talk about what's going on and talk about new reports. And that relationship sets us up, it separates us from everybody. It's amazing, I think, because that was the role I was in before becoming in the business development role, was being a partner success manager. And it's just amazing to have that relationship with somebody and help them grow their company and see them go through things. And, this past year, I was in that role in the beginning of March. And so there was a lot going on, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear everybody was feeling. And I was able to have those conversations with partners and say, well, this is what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing cancellations. I'm not seeing people not accept cancellations. Everybody's doing that. I'm not seeing people lower their rates. And so you benefit from the dashboard, which is easy to use. And then you really benefit from having that relationship, somebody that's going to guide you through it. So you're not just left, to figure it out for yourself or fend for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really good because, some people are really good with data and numbers, and others are maybe a little nervous. So here you got the best of both worlds. You can do it yourself, or you can have someone coach you, or even if you're really good at it, just get some coaching anyway. It's a new tool. And honestly, if we're not using data correctly in today's world, I think eventually we're going to find, as property managers or owners, we're going to be left behind to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great. So, we just finished 2020. It was a crazy year, a lot of different things. How did COVID impact or change the way Key Data operates or helps customers?
Yeah, so this was something like back in April and May, there was cancellations. Those were the biggest thing that everybody was seeing. And so we had to really kind of switch our focus on that, because tracking cancellations and everything wasn't on top of people's priority list at the time. Everybody just wanted to see, how are my bookings? How's my revenue? What am I looking at? And now people are like, well, I need to check my cancellations, my lost revenue, all of this. So we did shift a lot of our attention into creating different key performance indicators that focus on cancellations and different specific reports too, that just say, well, this is how many cancellations you've had today. This is how much revenue was canceled today, just so you're staying informed on that. Because even though it wasn't pretty at the time, and I had to show it to several, users, it was informative. And again, it goes back to that. If you're not informed when you're making your decisions for the future, you could be missing out. So you want to know how much you lost as well as how much you made.
Yeah, that's good. Good to know is that Key Data was able to adapt and help so many owners and managers during this difficult time. That's really good.
Yes, yeah, we were really thankful that we were able to do that as well. And so those reports are still in there for cancellations. And we even did, I think, a webinar that we have recorded somewhere where you can go through those cancellation KPIs. So whenever you get set up, that's a learning process, something you can go through as well.
Good. What are some of the challenges or opportunities that maybe Key Data is facing as we go into 2021?
I mean, our challenges that I'm going to talk about right now are something that kind of started in the fall of 2020. And it was just a matter of, and it's something I think everybody seemed to face the same challenge, is shifting our presence in the industry from being one that we were attending conferences, we're in people's faces, shaking hands, that was our thing, being very present, to switching to more of a virtual kind of presence. So a virtual event, this interview, today I'm doing, switching to things like this. To get in front of people more often and let people know that we're still here. We still have the data for you. It's better than it was a year ago. The reports are better. They're newer. But that was one of our challenges. And I think, like I said, a lot of people in the industry had to kind of make that big shift. But I think we've done it pretty successfully. We're still we've still had a pretty good year. And I think for 2021, it's going to be the same, at least for the first half of the year, right? Like doing a lot of these virtual conferences and trying to see what works. And so hopefully we'll get back to normal too.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely ready. Everybody is to get back to some face-to-face conferences and shaking hands or bumping fists, maybe even, and just working together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, what do you think is one of your big goals for you in 2021, or for Key Data, or both? What's a big goal for 2021?
Well, back to what you just said, my goal for 2021 is simpler than what it may have been in the past years. It may be like, I just want to make this many sales or whatever. But really, I just want to be in front of people. I want to be back around everyone in the industry. We all do. I want to stand at a booth, see everyone's smiling faces again, shake hands, just come back together as the community and the industry that we are. That's my goal, is to do whatever I can to help with that. So I'm excited for that at the end of 2021. I'm hoping that we have all of these big conferences again in fall of 2021. So really, that's what I'm looking forward to. And that is my goal. I want to be in front of you guys. I want to speak in conferences again.
Great. Yeah, that's what we all want to do. It'd be great to get back together face to face. So Taylor, we appreciate you being with us today. And, this data it's a spectator sport. I mean, you have to get in, you have to try it out to be able to say, hey, I've looked at it and it's working or it's not working for me, and let's get some help. But you got to get involved with the data. And then how can people contact you or learn more about Key Data?
So you can learn more about Key Data on our website at keydata-dashboard.com. You can email me at taylor@keydata-dashboard.com. Very simple. And I would love to set up a meeting so we can go through your data. We can go ahead and talk about your market together. I think that's the kind of the first steps, is seeing what's going on in your market, and then we'll set something up to maybe get your dashboard set up soon as well.
Great. Well, Taylor, we appreciate you coming on today and helping us learn a little bit more about Key Data and the reason why data is needed in our business and vacation rentals today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Safer VR's podcast with Eric Thibodeau. If you enjoy this, I would love you to join my Facebook group, The Safer Vacation Rentals, for more of the same. You can also join our email list at www.safervrs.com.